To be able to succeed in the way I've used the technique, it's called go out, buy shit first, figure out how to pay for it later.
Now they're coming to your house. I had to repeat to myself that, what do you want? This is your time. This is the most valuable asset you have.
Yeah.
How do you want to spend it? And so, just repeating that to myself over and over and over again, I was just like, okay, yeah, no, I definitely want to do this.
Yeah.
But we forgot one of the other major life-changing events, buying the house and committing to that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You bought the house as
That
well.
was huge, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big, like you said, a leap of faith, I think is what you said in that one, right? And,
exactly.
And having the belief that, it's a technique that I like to put out there. And since now we're well into our, what is this, 9th episode, 10th episode?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So now that we're out in this episode, the belief that I have is very simple.
Mm-hmm.
For average people like me and you,
mm-hmm.
and everybody else out there, to have the success that you need to have, being brought up in the environment that we're being brought up in, of buying things, instant this, instant that. Well, you have to use that to your advantage. And the way I do that is I go out, I see something I really like, I get the best version of it, which is like, if you see the car you really like, don't go for the bare model, go for the fully loaded model, right?
Exactly.
Because you're just gonna love it every day when you get in. And at some point you're gonna get that monthly bill, and that monthly bill is you're either going to say, yeah, I'm glad I spent the extra $200 because it just has everything from the Bose sound system to the, the extra look, to the rims, the paint that you love. So everything you get in every day, you're getting into that car.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And every day you're feeling good about it. So it makes sense. It balances the payment that you're doing for the value you're getting. And you want that value to be higher or more worthwhile, where you would have said, yeah, I probably would have even paid more on a monthly basis for this car.
Right.
Or bought it more. Now, that being said, to be able to succeed in the way I've used the technique, it's called go out, buy shit first, figure out how to pay for it later.
Now they're coming to your house.
There we go.
Now everyone's going.
That's how you do it, folks. Now, we've been trained for it. We've been bred for it. It's built into our environment. We're subjected to it 1,000 times on a daily basis with commercials. The only thing I did is change it to use it to my advantage. Think about it. So now if I see something I want, I'm not saying, I'm at minimum wage and I'm going to go buy, a car that's costing me $2,000, go buy a Ferrari.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I check my numbers. I know my numbers, and I'll push on average on a yearly basis 30% more. So my goal right now and I know this sounds weird, on a yearly basis is increase, not my income. I want to increase my bills.
Spend
By 30% a year, my fixed bills by 30% a year.
Wow.
That's what I'm trying to do. Guess what that does?
And naturally, yeah.
It forces me to go out and make 30 to 40% more income on a yearly basis. And that means you're going to be doubling your income every 3 years. Yeah.
Nice.
I know.
Wow. Interesting.
Very.
I like that.
Thank you.
That was great.
Most of you will not be able to pull this off.
No.
Most of you will have a nervous breakdown. And the reason why is because you're surrounded by people who are telling you need to save your way to $1 million, which is literally impossible in today's world. There is no way you can save your way to anything.
No, it's
the system is no longer designed like this. Maybe it was in the past, 100 years ago, 500. It is no longer capable in today's world with as much commercials, what other people are doing, social media. It's impossible to save. So you have to go out and buy that item. Make sure it's going to put a smile on your face every day.
Yeah.
And then you'll have no problem going out feeling great. When you feel great, it's easier to make
more
money.
You do great things.
You do great things.
Yeah, exactly. So and I've felt that. I've genuinely felt that. Like even with the car that I just, not recent, but I would say pretty recent got it, I feel that way. It is way more. Not way, but I would say, the 30, 40% more than what it was before, the car payment. But I feel great great. So it really works what you're saying. It's not just something you're saying.
Okay, and so now the other issue you're going to have is that, okay, here's Hans, he's saying that, he's done this, he's done that. Here's Shawn, you know, he's saying that you're going to come up with a ton of different excuses of why we're different than you are. And I'm not. I'm actually coming from a way lower background, a much bigger pit or whatever, a sewer than
the
most.
bottom.
The most people are, right?
Yeah.
So I don't have no, you know, so someone told me recently, you know, I also came from, you know, the middle class working family. I go, I didn't come from that. Okay. I'm way below that. I was below the poverty line.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And you went to a listing appointment yesterday for what?
Yeah. Now, you know, I went to $100 million listing appointment yesterday.
Wild.
Yeah. To take on an entire 400 units on a condo and also another 150 units for another. So I guess it was more than 100 million, probably about $300 million listing appointment. And I'm sitting there, you know, by myself, and they have like a team of 5 surrounded, drilling me with questions, and I'm like playing tennis. I'm like, I
love that.
Ding.
Yeah.
It wasn't even an issue with me as long as, I had my Tim Hortons Cafe Mocha, which I always say is my secret. Before I go into an appointment. As that no one can beat me if I've downed a Cafe Mocha from Tim Hortons. Like it's just like you could have seen their eyes. They're just like, wow, who is this guy?
Right.
Yeah, because the answers that are coming out and then the confidence that I have, and then, you know, obviously probably my pupils are dilated. And I'm in the zone. I'm in the Cafe Mocha zone.
Just one Cafe Mocha?
Well, it was a medium, and it's Tim Hortons, and then, you know, that's just not coffee, and that's just not cream, and that's just not sugar. That's just, you know, Cafe Mocha crack.
On your way there. That's all you're doing.
That's what I drank. I down the whole thing before I get in there, and I'm wired for the next hour and a half to 2 hours.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so you're just playing tennis. They're hitting you with questions, and you're like, bang, bang.
Yeah, no problem.
That's
like,
awesome.
You know, like Pete Sampras.
Oh.
You know? Yeah.
That's it. And how'd it go?
Great.
Awesome.
They were just shaking my hand, smiling from ear to ear, and just, you know, ready to get things going full speed ahead.
Right.
Yeah, so it went really, really well, and pretty much closed the deal on that appointment there, because now I got to meet with the whole entire team, and we hit it off really well. So it went fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's exciting new step, moving to the next level, and we all have different levels. You know, when I first started, I never was dreaming to get to this stage.
Yeah, of course.
And now that I was at this stage, now I'm dreaming of getting to the next stage.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I mean, to come from what you were saying to a listing appointment for 300 million now, my God, that's crazy. And that's probably just another level that you're gonna go past.
It is, and it's because I'm changing my own personal thought processes. So I'm changing the way I think. So a lot of you guys, I'm gonna give you a quick special technique. You can aim for 6 figures, or you can aim for 80,000 or 50,000 or 6 figures or something like that. But you can also at the same time aim for $250,000, which is what Shawn's doing. He's going to skip the 6 figures. Exactly. You say, let's go to $250,000. I'm seeing it happen. And what I wanted to mention before is the whole buy shit first, figure out how to pay for it later system is something that, number one, he's being guided. So he has someone who's showing him the path on how this works, which if you're interested, DM us. We'll be happy to help. 100%. Number two, he's surrounded by ego, which means he's surrounded by other people doing it. Now, if Shawn was sitting in his bedroom by himself thinking this thought that he's just going to do it, and he has nothing else showing evidence of proof that this is actually the route to take.
No chance.
Yeah, who would do it?
Nobody
would doing it.
No.
So, for all you guys who are plugged into your car, sitting by yourself, surrounded by a bunch of turkeys who are going to tell you otherwise, and you can't see it, you're not visually seeing it. It's not in your bubble. It's not in your...
It's not real.
It's not in your realm because you don't see it happening, so it's not real.
Exactly.
As Shawn was just saying, you're not going to do it. It just makes it that much more difficult. So you need to get connected with people who are doing it. And so when Shawn's looking around and he's seeing Sam, he's seeing Cheyenne, he's seeing Kusha, he's seeing Mel,
Mel, I was going to say.
He's seeing, some of these other guys going out and having phenomenal
Yourself.
success. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm sitting here as well,
absolutely.
right? Yeah. So, you get the privilege of sitting across from me on a week-to-week basis. And I'm telling you, it's a freaking privilege. So, because, nobody gets this much time as, sitting here doing this podcast success with me.
Thanks, Hans.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Anytime.
I know your time's valuable.
Anytime
so thank you.
on Thursdays.
That's it.
That's it.
I'd like to think we text on a daily basis now.
Well, you can think what you like to think. Whatever makes you happy is all good with me. So, but
No,
I am the mentor and you are the protege, and it's supposed to work that way.
Exactly.
All right. No offense.
Exactly.
No offense here, right?
Yeah. No.
So anyway, so we just told you about surrounding yourself with the right people is going to reinforce people who are doing the buy ship first, figure out how to pay for it later, or implementing that properly and having success with it.
Yes.
When you surround yourself and you can see other people doing it, it's going to boost your confidence to allow you to do the same. Then, let's get back to where we were talking about is how do you accelerate this path? Why is Shawn skipping 6 figures and going straight instead of a 100K protege? We're talking about a 250K protege, because the reality is if you set your sights on 100K, guess what you'll earn in a year, 2 years, or 5 years, whatever it happens to be. For some people, it's all different. Some people, it's 10 years. And they get on a job and they start off at 40,000 and they go, man, one day I'm going to make 100K.
Exactly.
One day I'm going to make 100K.
Exactly.
And they work for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And then one day they do become manager. And that was the path they took, because that was the goal they took. And that was what they told themselves. We're going to take all the steps. We're going to move up the ladder. We're going to get this promotion, this promotion, this promotion. As it comes along, as someone dies or retires, I'm going to fill those shoes. That doesn't happen every day. And all of a sudden they move up the ladder and they get their 5%, 6% pay raises. And now they get a big promotion and they get a 10% per pay raise, which means if you're making 60, 10% means you're going to 66, right? It's a nice, steady, grueling path that you have no clue whether or not you'll ever make it there. But if you're determined, I believe you can get there. But the reality is you can change that path, and you can say in the same amount of time, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever it is, 10 years, that you're going to get to 250K. Now, what happens is you will change the actions as long as you believe that you can actually do it.
Yeah.
And to believe that, you need to see other people have done it. That's the easiest way to do it, and surround yourself with those people that all of a sudden you change the actions that you're taking, which is what you're experiencing right here live on the Real Estate Mentor podcast with our 250K protege. Instead of him saying 100K, he's saying 250K, and that means he has to take different steps. He has to make quick changes. He has to make different moves, take different actions to be able to get there, and he's doing that. I'll give you another example. We have another young gun on our team, Kusha. You guys have seen him before on the videos, some of our videos. Great kid. He's 23 years old, and his goal for this year was 100K. Now, in the first 4 months, he's already pretty much like 100% for the year. He's already hit that number. He's already at 75, somewhere around that K. And what happens is naturally, subconsciously, you start slowing down because you're ahead of the pace. And when you're at the head of the pace, your brain goes, wow, we're doing too good. Let's slow it down because I want to time up. I want to hit the 100K in 12 months. That was my goal. Who set that goal?
You
did.
Yeah.
So now I recognize this. I brought this up to Kushan. We changed his goal to 200. And now he's off to full speed ahead, going to listing appointments, and his momentum just picked back up. And now it looks like he's going to do 200K. So in the same amount of time, you could achieve the 100K because that's what you set your goal to. But also in the same amount of time, you can hit 250K. Why not go for the 250K? And that's fast tracking, folks. That's true fast tracking. Now, don't blow it out the door and say, I'm going to make 10 million.
Exactly.
You haven't even made 6K and 6 figures in your life. You still got to go through the levels.
Yeah.
No one jumps levels. Look at the Matrix. He tried to jump a whole level on his own. Everyone said what? Well, nobody makes the jump on their first try.
Exactly.
So you have to move up levels. You have to, get that reassurance, that confidence. Even a boxer gets put into a ring. He might be a phenomenal boxer. They don't put him against the heavyweight champion of the world in the first fight because he's going to get beat up, knocked out. He's going to lose his confidence. You got to build that confidence and that belief. It's confidence, which is belief that moves you up levels that you can do a little bit more. Now, I find the best number to aim for on a financial level, if you're doing numbers, if you're doing the bills, if you're doing it's 30%. And the reason why I do 30% is because if you increase your bills from 10,000 to 13,000, it's enough to make you feel like, wow, I got to now make an extra $36,000 a year, which means $50,000 after post taxes, unless you're writing off the things that you bought, which is what you should try and do. I still got to make that extra income, but I can do it. Or if I go and I increase my bills from 100 to 300,000, you might freeze up and you might go,
You don't believe.
Well, you just might freeze up and like, how am I going to, you start asking the wrong question. How am I going to pull this off? What did I do?
Who can I borrow
How
from?
did I get myself into this?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And instead you're trying to figure out, how do I sell this car? It's costing me. Or how do I sell this house? How do I get out of this situation?
100%.
Because now you're overwhelmed. And when you're overwhelmed, you're trying to get out of the situation. You're not trying to figure out a solution on how to manage the situation. So if you've never done it before, I'm sure those numbers can go faster. And I'm sure after you gain some confidence and momentum that, wow, everything I'm thinking and that I'm dreaming of is coming true, and it's actually becoming reality, and you gain this momentum, then you can try and push 30% to 50% or even trying to double it in a year. And I've seen that happen with myself. When my confidence has gone through the roof, I make some adjustments. But the reality is the year before that will usually be a down year, which means I have free brain power, free time to figure things out. And all of a sudden the following year will then double up. So it sort of balances itself out.
Gotcha.
But I see that big takeoff. And now what I'm doing is I've plateaued, have to make adjustments. I've maxed myself out, whatever you want to call it, maxing yourself out, plateauing.
Yeah.
And now you make adjustments, you have a new foundation, and you start launching again, just like what I'm doing right now.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say.
And all of a sudden, I'm going to 100, 200, 300 million dollar listing appointments. What's that all about? I don't know. But I'm going to keep going. That's all I can say.
Wow.
Yeah. And you know what? Not only that, people are now offering me opportunities. Yesterday, I pulled into another guy. He said, listen, I got a small development that I want to get. You want to get in on this? You can be the realtor. You can list it. It's 3 lots that they're going to subdivide into like 5 or 7 $3 million homes. I mean, in essence, that was a $21 million listing appointment I just went on. He just asked me to call. I was driving home. He just do a drive-by and stop by. I'll meet you there. So I did. And then I got a call at the same time, I got a call from the owner of our building. And he said, listen, do you know anyone or are you interested? We want to ask you, Hans, do you want to buy this building? We would offer it to you first and foremost, $10 million to buy this building. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And why is these offers all of a sudden showing up? At the same time, I had just met with these other guys who were interested in buying buildings and turning them into, condos or other things, and have connections with the city and the town and the rest of the stuff that can make these kind of things happen, where these guys, they're not in that game. They're just more in a REIT game or a cash flow game.
Right.
And now they want to sort of see themselves, exiting the scene. And they said, hey, listen, there's an opportunity. Talk to your guys. And all of a sudden I have this guy.
You have this guy.
Yeah.
It's the universe for you.
Well, because why? Because I changed my direction.
Yeah.
I'm no longer, I've hit my goals.
Right.
Once you've hit your goals, you need to create new goals. Otherwise you get stuck at a level. I've created this new massive goals for myself. And, you have to get your wife or your spouse or whoever is on board with you. And that's who I got on board. And she's on board. My little guy's on board.
I love that.
And now you can go, right?
Yeah.
So you create this new goals and you create this new foundation, this platform. You create a plan of how you're going to get there. And then all of a sudden the universe starts opening doors. And it's amazing.
That's
right?
unbelievable.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. I mean, I'm living proof of what you just said. All these doors that are randomly opening up because I'm more and more focused on real estate.
Yeah.
All these things that are going for me. These brand deals that never came my way all of a sudden coming
Showing up.
My next one is Cheetos.
What?
On the way to the office, I got an email from
Oh my
Cheetos.
God. So we're going to be eating some Cheetos.
Cheetos.
Let's do it. I'm in.
And I'm just like on the way to the office.
Yeah.
And I just put my phone down in my car. I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah.
This was not what it was.
Yeah.
But it's part of the Hanzo bubble, baby.
Thank you.
That is all it is.
Because, the reality is he had a set system into place, which is phenomenal. I love the style that he has. And he was trying to move away from that. Mm-hmm. And I sort of mentioned you got to stick to what works.
Exactly.
In his case. And it wasn't that it wasn't working. It was working really well. He just wasn't getting paid for it. And now he's starting to get paid for the work that he's done. And these are banked hours. When you're self-employed, there's a universal bank out there. It's banked hours. If you quit, they don't have to pay you. If you don't quit,
They'll pay you.
They pay you at some point. It's like a slot machine.
You just don't know it yet.
You just have to keep going. And now he's doing that, plus doing this,
Yeah.
plus doing real estate. He's got 3 listing appointments. I'm sure of those 3, 2 of them, and hopefully all 3 of them turn into listings. Of those 3 listings, they turns into buying all of a sudden, and boom, bada bing. Probably by the end of June, this guy will already have surpassed or on his way to closing on over 6 figures.
Yeah.
And heading his way. First, you get to the 6-figure mark, then you're gonna have to readjust and say, okay, let's go for that 250.
Yeah, can't wait.
If we can do it this year, that would be phenomenal. If we can, let's do it. Obviously,
I believe in that.
Why not?
100%
Let's see how
confident.
fast you can get there. And he's moving fast. He's fast tracking. So, give him applause at home. If you're watching the show, everyone give him a big applause.
Oh.
If it's not this year, 100% it's going to be next year. He's
Hell
a
yeah.
250K protege just waiting to happen and is happening in front of your eyes. Stay tuned. Keep watching this show. This is incredible. I'm having a blast. He's having a blast. He's having a life-changing blast.
Yeah. And the podcast is launched.
and we're happy to bring it to you live and show you how this is all going to play out because, you got to see it to believe it. And get surrounded by this podcast on a daily basis because we could be your eagles that you need to hear this from on a daily basis, which is going to change your life and it's going to make you a different person and start heading you in the right direction, becoming that future you that you've always wanted to be. I appreciate your time, really appreciate you watching us, and we look forward to connecting with you next week.
Thank you for tuning in. This is Shawn Medi. He is Hanzo, the real estate mentor. We're checking out.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for tuning in.